Nothing is by happenstance, yet you think it's just by chance. Just between you and me. This is not no trick. This love is so real. Between you and me. This is not, there's no tricks. This love is so real. Ocean deep, river wide, valley low and
April wants to keep that music going.
I need to keep that music. You got to find where that music is, babe.
It's not even on anymore. Why are you still dancing?
Because I still got it in my head.
What's up, y'all?
You realize we have not had our opening for the past 2.
It's been like 3 weeks.
It's been like 3 weeks.
And I figured out today what the problem was.
Aren't you proud of him, Jeremiah?
Look. O'Brien talking about, yay, the intro worked.
Exactly.
I'm in the mood.
That's right. It gets you in the mood.
It does get you in the mood. That's true.
Yes.
What's up, Chimes?
Y'all?
It's good to see you guys again.
Chimes
Glad you guys are here.
Ready.
Yeah, man, we ready to go too. I'm sorry for Primo. I don't know what happened, but apparently he lost his top fan status.
I don't understand.
And he's like trying to get it back. And I don't know what he's been missing. Primo,
you are an OG.
He is an OG, there's no question. And the funny thing about Primo is he's actually in D.C. right now. He was supposed to be here tonight.
on the show tonight.
But we had too much stuff going on in our personal lives. We couldn't have him actually come through.
Yeah.
And we tried to get him another night, but he's got family here, so it's not going to work out. But anyway.
And Primo act like he didn't bring his clubs, on
I
purpose.
asked him, did you bring your clubs? And then I asked him a series of other questions, too. He said no to the clubs real quick. He didn't even stay on that. And then he started talking about all the other stuff I asked him. I didn't give him a hard time, but I already know right now the reason why he didn't bring his clubs is because he does not want to see me.
We know the real reason. He don't want to see me.
That's yeah. And the thing is, we're going to see each other anyway in October. You know what I'm saying?
We're supposed to. I don't know. Primo might back out at the last minute.
He won't back out because you know what? We're doing this thing, and everybody needs to know about it. It is the Brothers Golf Tournament. It's actually called Brothers and Sisters now. It used to be just guys, and now you can bring your wife, your fiance, your girlfriend, whatever, and they can all play too. And we're excited about it. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be October 3rd to the 6th. Mm-hmm. If you want to come just to see me beat Primo, I think that's enough reason to be
and
there.
And see me beat Primo.
Both of us. You know what I'm saying?
So, remember, the listeners only, okay?
Yeah.
Guys, register today and add promo code CHIMES10 for 10% off. Say the CHIMES.
I don't think the people that aren't from Atlanta even know what you just said. You know what I'm saying? Chimes 10.
Chimes 10.
For 10% off. Okay. Primo talking about you don't want none of this smoke. Hey, man, so join us. Come on down. Be there with us. It's in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and it's going to be fun. I don't know why Marissa talking about she believed Primo would win. Marissa, what do you know about me and golf? Because if you don't know, you know what I'm saying?
My goodness.
Marissa probably is Primo's cousin. I'm almost positive.
Only family would say that. You're right. Only family would say that.
So glad to have you on the show tonight.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Jeremiah said, missed you guys on YouTube last week. Sorry, Jeremiah.
We figured it out after it was over. And it was so easy.
So let me tell you what happened.
Fix.
I'm going to just tell y'all what happened last week. It wasn't actually my fault. So we decided last week, because we had so many different guests coming in and out, that it'd be easier to use Restream, which has sort of an automatic way of putting guests in and on the screen. It's much easier than what we have to do with Ecamm. So we decided to do that. Now, we stream every week from Restream. We're using Ecamm through Restream.
Babe,
it's too much technical.
I don't think anyone cares about this. Yeah.
The point is...
No one cares, babe.
The point is it wasn't my fault. That's really the point. Jeremiah cares. He wants to know what happened.
He just being nice. He don't care.
Jeremiah wants to know what happened.
He just wants you to fix that for next time.
Well, it's fixed now because he's on YouTube. He's here now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's
clearly
all he
it's
cares
working.
about.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm so excited about tonight.
I'm really excited about it too.
I'm really excited.
So people talking about Marissa, thanks for putting some respect on my golf game. But Marissa, you still haven't told us who you are. Are you related to Primo?
She has to be related. That's the
question.
only way.
You know what I'm saying?
You know?
Wanda's here. What's up, Wanda? Blessings to you as well.
Oh, she said, listen.
She said people who talk smack don't always win. That's true.
But no. But you don't hear Primo smack. See, he does
Primo is the biggest smack talker I know. The biggest smack talker I know.
Oh my goodness.
I can't think of anyone else. Hey, Brittany. Good to see you tonight. Glad you are here. Okay, so here's what we're excited about tonight.
We've got some besties on tonight.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
These are people we go way back with. And here's the crazy thing. I go back. See? He said he cares, babe.
Oh, he's just
Jeremiah cared. So Jeremiah, we'll talk.
He said, "No, I care about retreat.
What's that?
Red tree.
What's that?
He was trying to say restream, babe.
Oh,
he wasn't really
restream.
care.
Oh, okay.
So he said red tree.
Marissa says she's not related to Primo. I don't believe it, Marissa. You gotta show me your birth certificate.
Oh my goodness.
Camila.
Exactly.
We didn't come on here for tech talk.
Exactly.
We're here for duty to the. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Jeremiah's trying to say restream.
Okay, I knew you were.
What's up, Nate? The little man's on here.
Hey, little man.
Nate
okay,
Lau. Sheldon's here.
Little man, babe.
Oh, my
Don't
bad.
do
I
that.
forgot.
What up,
My bad, man. Jeremiah said he typed too fast.
What
You
up,
over here
Shell?
making fun of him. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry.
He
I
just
was
typed
really
too
making
fast.
fun of John.
Okay, let's talk about why we care about tonight's episode.
Okay.
So we have guests on all the time. And these guests are guests that we refer to as our YouTube senseis. Okay? These are the people who actually, before anybody at church ever said, hey, you guys need a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
These people right here were like, John and April, we're about to do a YouTube channel. We think you guys should do one too. And in fact, they sent us an email with detailed instructions on how to set it up and everything.
Yep.
Did we set it up?
Nope.
No. Why not?
Well, we were too afraid.
Scared.
We were too afraid.
We were scared.
We were scared.
It was years later that we
Yes.
finally did it, and now they have lapped the sun many times with their years of experience on YouTube. But we finally got them on our show, and we're excited to have them tonight.
But we have to even say, not just that,
Yeah.
babe. The real reason why we're excited about them on here is because of the multiple nights at Andrews University
That we spent
in the
eating
apartments eating wings,
and watching movies
on
their
and
big
playing
screen.
Monopoly.
Yeah,
okay?
that was fun.
So those were the best times.
They were.
Okay, we need to just bring them on.
The show's not about that tonight. We're bringing
No, it's
on
not.
right now our guests, Rita and Mirthell Mitchell.
Yes. Hi, guys.
What's up, guys? Let me turn y'all up a little bit on our side so we can hear you better. Say something again.
Hey.
Okay,
There
good.
you
All right,
go.
better.
There you
That was good. We had to turn down because the music was too loud earlier. You know what I'm saying? But now it's better. So Rita and Mirthell, if you guys don't know, because you maybe you don't watch YouTube, maybe you've been living under a rock, maybe you don't have children. Rita and Mirthell are the mom and dad in Onyx Family, and if you Google, in fact, like in Google, if you put O-N, it will finish it for you.
Listen, the
you know what I'm saying?
chimes are already Googling.
Right.
Okay. Chimes are already Googling.
Onyx Kids, Onyx Family, they have an amazing YouTube channel, and we're excited to have them on tonight.
Amazon Prime.
Yes.
They have books, guys, for kids,
Yes.
for families, podcasts
Yes.
that you guys do, cooking channel, like so much. We're so proud of them. I'm
guys are doing
like,
everything,
I feel
man.
like I'm a parent. Like, oh my goodness, how should I be this proud? You know, I feel like only parents
I
should
think
be
you
that
should.
proud.
I think you should be
You
this
know,
proud.
I am. I'm so proud.
Because we go way back. You know, it's
We
something
do.
about knowing people before they made it that makes you feel like prouder when they do make it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
We
Good
really
times. Good times. We can't tell all the stories.
did. Right. So how you guys doing?
Man, we're doing well. You know, just we're excited to be here because, like you were saying, we all go back. And
Yeah.
I mean, like John and I go back from I don't know what 5, 6. I don't know how young we were.
I was trying to remember. I think, Rita, when we moved to California, I was 8.
Yeah.
I think. But by the way, O'Brien is saying that you guys' volume is a little bit low. I don't know if you can turn it up where you are.
Volume? Oh,
Mhm.
no.
Turn up your cloud lifter a little bit.
Oh, Sheldon said a lot low.
Okay,
They say
Sheldon says a lot low.
they can barely hear you. Let's see if we can.
Can you guys
Can you
hear us
guys
now?
hear us now?
We can, but see what they say. So tell
Okay,
us,
let
guys.
us know,
They've
guys.
turned it
Can
up
you
now.
hear them
Tell us
now?
whether
Go
or not
ahead
they're
and
loud
talk,
enough.
guys.
Can you hear us?
See,
It's gonna
when
take a
I-
little second for him to come back.
I had my daughter. She's the one that set this part up.
Yeah. And you're saying that it's
They're
her
saying
fault.
no, it's
They're
still,
saying still
it's still
low.
low.
Why?
Still low? Still low? Can you hear it?
Now let me see something. I have you turned up all the way in the interview, Mike. So
Man.
I've got you as high as you go here, and there's no way to change the sound effects.
No.
Wouldn't do anything.
Get off. You can get off this and then just put it on.
On
this.
that.
Okay.
How about that?
How about this?
Oh, that's probably louder.
Can you hear it?
That's just the computer.
Sheldon talking about scream for the next 45 minutes.
Can you guys hear us now?
Yeah, because we can just get rid of that.
I can
think that's
definitely hear
probably
you
better.
louder.
Yeah.
How about it, guys? Shell, let us know.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody's saying thumbs
now.
up now.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Okay, good.
Hey, Aaron.
So should
Yeah.
we take
All right,
away our
Wanda
mics
says
too to
great.
be like them? You know what I'm saying?
You want to join them with no mics? You
I
want to
don't
do
know.
that?
You know what I'm saying? Might as well.
Okay.
Let's switch it up.
All right, let's switch it up so we can be together.
All right.
Go.
Right?
All right.
All right, here we go. Can you guys hear us? Okay. I can get that.
You
out
you
of
guys
my
can
ear.
hear us now?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, we
good.
can
Okay,
hear
All
it.
great.
Okay. So
Yes.
now that we got rid of that, let's start with question number 1. How old are you guys? Tell us your social security numbers. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I don't want any of that. No, seriously though, Rita, I was thinking about the other day when we moved to California. I think I was 8 years old, and I think we're the same age.
I'm the same age as Paul.
Yeah, Rita.
Oh, you're 1 year younger than me.
Rita, let him know that he is older than you.
Yeah.
He's always trying to be.
Older than me.
I don't remember that. I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
So we're talking about 1986 or 7 is when we moved there, and Dad was pastoring Pacoima, and of course that was your church, and
So you guys go way back.
right, like
Did you wanna do
wiggity
that?
way back,
Oh, okay.
like for real. In fact, I mean I can't say all that, but I had a nickname for you and all that stuff, but I don't want to. I can't say that.
Oh my goodness. No, yeah. And then we all were at Oakwood together, and then we all went to Andrews together, and then we all kind of now we're all over the place. But yeah, it's so crazy to see where you guys have grown, and you guys talk about how you guys are how you guys feel proud. When I see you guys, I feel the same way. Super proud of what you guys have built. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you guys were really encouraging us to do this, and we were so afraid. And so stepping out there, we really give you a lot of credit because you guys talked to us multiple times. I don't know if you remember this, for several hours.
Yeah.
About
when
all
we
the
get
things we
into
needed to do.
When we get into this conversation, I think we are going to go through some of the same themes, me being a pastor, some of those same themes of overcoming that fear and how do you break some of the obstacles. It's so we know what it feels like to be fearful, even from the context of pastor and pastor wife.
Right.
Wow. Well, somebody's talking about your hair being off the chain over there, Rita.
Yeah. Gabby Agu
Thank
said
you.
her hair is awesome.
Oh, thank you,
Yes,
Gabrielle.
it is. Okay, so we know that your story, at least we think we know, your story begins together at Oakwood. Are we right about that?
Right.
Yeah.
But what we remember the most is us ordering grillers and French fries from you at the
The
snack
bar.
Yeah. We were in the Aeolian summer choir, and we lived in the snack bar that entire summer, and we kept
Exactly.
seeing you
We kept
guys all
seeing
the
you
time
guys.
because you guys worked there.
Right.
Oh, man.
Yes.
That's where I feel
Yeah.
like I got to know you guys a little bit. That's where it started for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So go
we
ahead
met
and tell
that
us.
year. So
Yeah.
we met that year in January at a friend's, one of those Sabbath potlucks.
Okay.
And that's basically where we met at it was a birthday potluck there. And she came in, and for the very first time, I've never seen her. Her roommate actually brought her to that potluck, and that's where we met. And so that snack shop, by that time, we were engaged by then. Like we were the same year.
a
We
lot of
got
people-
married the same year that we met.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. So
Wow. I didn't realize that.
that when we were in the snack shop is during the summer, I was supposed to be back in LA, but I had called my parents I think I want to stay for the summer, and they were like, "What? Why? Who is he?" because they were like, it has to come back. It can't be, because I mean that was totally just like not my that was something totally out of the box for me.
Guys, drama from the very beginning.
Yeah, so,
they were calling the conference, calling everybody, trying to figure out who I am.
Who is this guy? Because
telling them
what?
His ministry.
That was when we were going to get married. That's when they found out we were going to get married, because our circles were so apart. Like, he's from Toronto, I'm from LA. We didn't have anything that's really intersecting. And it's funny because they sent me down to Oakwood. They're like, "Rita, you got to go to Oakwood because you want you to find a nice young man." But they were like, "Not your freshman year. Like, what is the matter with you?" And I was like, well, I know what I know. Like, this is it. And it was that summer that, like you were saying, in the snack shop where I really got to know him, because it was like a day in, day out. And I felt like I got to know the Aeolian choir too, because it's the same people every single day.
Exactly.
That was really the foundation for our relationship. That snack
working
shop
together.
Working together.
Wow.
We were working. I think I was making probably $4.50. You were making roughly around the same thing too.
Yeah.
And,
like an hour?
So together we were
like
making
$5.
I don't even think it was fully $5, but together we were making under $10. That was our first job as a married couple, working $10.
But the thing is, like the people who hired us there, they said to us, "We'll never hire a boyfriend and girlfriend again," because we would like, when we were good. But when we would argue, it would be like, I'm chopping up lettuce, I'm yelling at, and he's going back and forth. It was terrible.
Then we'd go missing. We'd go missing for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, like talking about everything.
And then we'd come back.
Oh my goodness!
20 minutes is
guys.
I know that length of time. 20 minutes. That's significant.
Like, where's Rita and Mirthell?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. It was a crazy time.
That's bad,
wow,
y'all.
so I didn't realize.
Burgers, getting hungry and eating burgers and juice, and we're like, God, please forgive us. Let's write the tab down because we can't afford it. We'll pay them back when we get the money.
which we did.
We paid them
Which
back.
you did, okay.
Good.
Well over.
Yeah.
All our donations to Oakwood is because we're thieves. We're thieves, y'all.
all those burgers you ate for free, right?
That's hilarious, man.
That is funny.
I can't remember how early in your marriage did you guys start having kids? Like, when did the kids come into play?
Oh my goodness. Well, Mirthell said on our actual wedding night, let's just do it once without anything. And I said,
and then afterwards we can use condoms. Like,
said,
right.
Shouldn't we?
But just one time, it should be okay.
Yeah, just one time. Well, immediately got pregnant. So 9 months later, had my first.
Wait a minute. Wait, stop.
She's 22 tomorrow.
That was your wedding night?
My wedding night.
You are kidding me, guys.
I did not know. I mean, it's like, yourself. I didn't know how long it took to have kids. I was like, it can't be just like this first time.
Right.
And it was just like, and the thing is, the next year we were like, we should start trying to have a sibling for Shalom, our oldest. So let's just start from now. Right off the bat, got pregnant right away again. Right. So I was like, okay,
right. This is
out of control.
And
everything else was a withdrawal method. It was like, honey, don't worry, I'm gonna pull out. I promise you.
2 more kids after that. 2 more after that.
The doctor.
Wow. Okay, go.
We're cutting this off. We're tying you up.
Sinead and Shalom are how far apart in age?
They're less than a year.
11 months apart.
They're less than a year.
11 months.
Y'all weren't playing.
So go back though, because you have to give us your age. How old were you when you got married, and then how old were you when you had your first child?
I was 19.
19.
And he was 23.
Okay.
So when I had my first child, I just turned 20 a few months before that. So and that was important to me because I don't know, I had this connotation of, I don't want to be like a teenage mother. Even though I was married, I just felt like it was going to look weird. So I was like, yes, I got the 20 and now I'm going to have my child. And, I just felt like, okay, it's all right now, but
wow.
I looked so young though. I looked like I was like 16 or 15, that when I went to the doctor, they are already like, they just assumed I was unmarried. Right. And you know how Adventists, at least at the time, we weren't even wearing a ring. So it was like, yeah, you must be single. And I'm like, no, I'm married. And they look like, how are you though?
And then when we were Andrews, with all those shenanigans and everything, you guys got pregnant too. So it wasn't only us.
Right. Everyone did.
We all got pregnant at Andrews.
And remember, we were telling you guys one time. Nah, we're done. We're done. We're not for
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we remember.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And Rita's fully pregnant.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Right. You didn't know at the time. Right.
You were pregnant when you were saying that.
By the way, Primo said Mirthell is the real deal. When he goes to work, he goes to work.
And Gabby said you got titanium stuff.
I don't know why he's getting the credit. It's clearly Rita that's the fertile one. You know what I'm saying?
Fertile is what?
I was just enjoying myself.
So as I want to paint the picture now. Okay, so clearly you guys are very young. You get married very quickly. You have children very quickly. It kind of throws your life into. Well, maybe it didn't. I don't know. What did this do to your life goals? Did you guys? Did you
have some plans?
Did you have things that you wanted to do that now this new situation kind of derailed or changed, or was it kind of like, this is fine? You know what I'm saying? What did it do to you guys?
Well, when I met Rita, she was a biology major. She was in what was it?
Pre-med.
Dr. Paul's program or whatever. So clearly, I mean, her parents had some plans for her. So they were,
yeah,
Parents.
I know a lot of people know this story, but for your audience, I was there on a full scholarship, so I was and some change. I don't even know if they do that anymore, but I had actual money to spend, and it was
Wow.
great. I didn't have to pay for anything, and so I was supposed to be the doctor. But when I went there, I don't know. I just felt like I didn't even know if I wanted to do this anymore. I was feeling already disillusioned. I didn't have the kind of commitment that I think you needed to be in that. So when I met Mirthell, I was already kind of feeling like, what am I going to do? I was already thinking about doing other things. And then I stopped going to class and I just slept. And I was like, and so then I lost my scholarship. So at that point in time, I didn't even know what I was going to do the next year. So it all was like, sure, why not? Why don't I just get married?
That's how it began, y'all. No plans, just why don't I?
No plans, just
wow.
That's how it all began.
I was so immature. Like, why don't I just get married?
Wow.
That's crazy.
That
man.
is very crazy.
So in a second, I want to ask you. I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about it because we're going to go to a little commercial break. I want to ask you guys what this did to your intimacy. And when you answer that question, I want you to think of bigger than in the bedroom, because clearly you're having kids, so there was some intimacy going on. But we don't want to know about that. We want to know,
because we know that was happening.
Clearly. we want to know
y'all.
We want to know how it impacted your total intimacy. Like your other, was it, did it have an impact at all? So anyway, we'll do that in a second when we come right back. We want to just tell you guys that we have something special that you can. As soon as the music comes on, she starts dancing.
I can't help it.
There's nothing she can do.
Okay, go ahead.
It's our boot camp. We have our intimacy boot camp that's launching this upcoming Monday. We're super excited about it.
Yes.
And all you have to do is go to bootcamp.justjohnapril.com and you can actually sign up for that today. Now, I didn't put it on the screen. I have it for later on. But we actually have a way of getting it way cheaper. You can get $200 off if at checkout you simply put in take off 200.
Yes.
That's all you have to do. And if you want to join our boot camp, you can do it. Man,
so
girl.
join. Go ahead and sign up now. You hear that music? Go ahead. Sign up. Sign up.
Stretching it up.
Oh my goodness.
No, it's good, guys. You would enjoy it. It's great.
You will.
We have several couples who are benefiting from it right now, and we want you to be a part of that.
So Monday it starts, and you have time still. All right, so we're here with Rita and Mirthell Mitchell, and we are talking about going from the struggle life to the Onyx life.
Yes.
And the Onyx life is really something they're going to talk to us about a little bit later. It's their thing, their Onyx family. They're doing extremely well on YouTube. They have been doing well for several years. But they didn't start off with a silver spoon in their mouths. And there were some things that they had to make decisions on. They had to have some courage and all of that to get to this place. And so what we're really talking about with them today is what impact does this kind of stuff have on a relationship?
Yeah.
There may be people here in our audience right right now who are considering being entrepreneurs, going out on their own, maybe leaving their careers.
Right.
And maybe every time you say it to your spouse, he or she gets anxiety about it because they're like, what are we going to do for bills and stuff like that? So we want to talk to people who have done it, who have done it successfully, you know, and to ask them how it's going. So anyway, we're going back now to Rita and Mirthell. So we want to know whether or not this situation impacted your intimacy in any way, shape, or form. The fact that you were young, just getting married, all of a sudden now you have a quiver of children.
I would
that do?
Say it did affect it. I think I wish that we had something when we were back there, like how you guys have right now, like that John and April Intimacy Bootcamp, where young people or young at heart can come together and just talk freely with one another and recognize that we're all going through the same thing. Because when you have when you're having a child young, and some of us will know that, a woman's hormones changes during that time process. She gets, emotional at times, and all of these things were very overwhelming at a young age. And I've even had to apologize, just not understanding what she was going through, and and wondering, hey. I'd like things to be different, There
were so and I used to tell him, I'm like, I know I'm not like this. I'm not even sure why I'm behaving like this. I was super emotional, like between the hormones, I think, from having babies back to back, and then the breastfeeding year, for each of them, and then at the time, moving all the way to Toronto. So I'm from LA, and then I moved to Toronto, and then being a pastor's wife.
And not knowing what you wanted to pursue
and then
as your career as well.
Wondering what was I going to do, because my confidence was at really low. It was at the lowest point at that point in the sense of my career, because I was like, man, why did I allow myself to lose this scholarship? Like, I was really questioning like who I was and what kind of maturity did I have. And I just was like, it made me even question, like, how was I going to even be as a wife or as a mother? Because it kind of scared me that I would let something that big go, but not knowing what I was going to do. And so that started probably years of me searching for myself. And during that time, Mirthell was like, look, I come from a family of nurses. Why don't you do nursing? And it never even occurred to me to be a nurse. It was like, all right. Now, I know my family wanted me to be a doctor. So I didn't really tell them like, oh, I'm going to do this nursing. Because what I told them was like, I'm going to be a nurse. And so that while I'm in med school, I can work. And that was the whole thing that I was going to do. And then as I'm getting in the medical career, though, I saw like, I don't think this is for me. Not because I couldn't do it. It's just that, you have a feeling that this is not for you. Like, if you dread getting up in the morning and you dread going to class, or you dread, like, there's so many things. And I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I'll say this. I went and did like almost every single field of nursing. I worked, I was an aide, and then an LPN, and then an RN, and then a nurse practitioner. I was a professor. Wow. And I did
nurse at the hospital.
I did hospice. I did hospice. I did the hospital. I did community. I did everything, looking to see
what you could do.
Something that would
trying
just
to
click
find that
me.
thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then eventually we get to the point where we tell you guys where she went and she became the CEO of a medical company. But that's kind of where we're heading.
Yes.
But as she was at probably one of the lowest points where she's trying to figure out herself, I am at my first job position as a pastor, and she's 19. No, now you're 20. Now you just turned 20.
Yeah.
And we have a child going into my first appointment. And then remember, we had a child just a few months later, like 11 months later. So now at my first job, she has 2 children. One of them is 1 year old and the other one is a baby. Oh. And the church is expecting, like, where's Sister Mitchell?
Yeah.
Where's Sister Pastor?
Right.
And what is she doing? Like, why isn't she on the piano right now?
And I think he had, it's like so true. It was so cliche, but so true. They were asking me, where was I? And I think Mirthell was the same thing. He was expecting things because he saw his mother and his father. They were a pastor and pastor's wife. And so that really impacted our marriage because there was a lot of expectations that were not met. And I didn't even know what to expect. As a young mother, I'm just like reeling from all of these life changes. And I think that we just were we were like young people growing up together, and we thrust into through our decisions. It wasn't like somebody forced us. It was like a decision that we just made, and it was just like the impact on our marriage was profound. And it was a very rough time, and there was a lot of intense, because Mirthell and I were very opinionated, and he likes to say, like, he thinks he's like passive. I don't even understand why. He's very, very opinionated. You know, he likes to think, oh, hun, you know, like somehow I'm stronger, but he has a very strong personality, so we would really butt heads.
I think Mirthell is a gentle personality. But
Rita's like,
but I definitely think I definitely think he's gonna tell you exactly what he's thinking.
Wait, do you remember the arguments that we were sitting in on?
Yes. I
I'm definitely
those are the best.
All my friends that know me definitely know I'm a debater. I will not let it go. I am, you know, I have my points, and I systematically will go through what I have to do to get that point across.
So have you grown though? Do you feel like those, you know, being like that, do you feel like even though you're both opinionated, you're strong-willed, do you feel like you've learned how to, you know, resolve conflict better or communicate better?
Definitely.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think there's so many things that I think happen as you get older. I think now, honestly, I actually weigh to myself, like, do I want to even spend this energy?
Nah, we don't have
I don't want to do that, you know?
We don't have the energy to argue.
You know, let's just,
Exactly.
let's just find a nice solution quickly.
Right.
That happens to me like 3 times a week. Where I'm just like,
No.
I'm not even gonna say anything.
What?
Oh yeah.
We need to have a conversation. What?
Absolutely.
What does that mean?
It means that as you get older and as you grow together, you
That's
start
true.
realizing the things that make a difference and the things that don't. And you're like, this isn't that deep. I mean, that was a little annoying, but it wasn't that deep. I'm not even gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I do
think
that
one of
all
our-
the time.
Wow.
We have some really good, memorable arguments, some really good ones.
Yeah, good ones.
One of the ones that really topped the charts is when our rings ended up in Niagara Falls.
Oh, yeah.
I remember.
Tops the charts.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we were
Remember you
on our
guys
way to
telling
church
us
or
that?
on our way back from
No,
church.
because it was
How?
something that something so small exploded into something so big, and really it started off because I had committed to doing the children's story, but then I backed out because I said, you know what, I don't want to do the children's story, and this is like pre-internet, so I'm a very shy person, and now it's like, Rita, how can you be shy? Like, you're all out there, but at that time especially, I was always feeling like, what are the church members going to say? Maybe I won't do it right. And I don't know, I really felt insecure. So I backed out. Mirthell was like, how can you say yes and then back out? And we start arguing.
And then she also wanted me to talk to the lady.
Yeah, I
and
didn't want to tell them.
at that point in my ministry, I had been in the ministry for, you know, a good while now, because we had started in 99.
Yeah.
So this was a very good while. This is probably 8 years or more in the ministry. And I had already realized at this point that she did not want to be a pastor's wife. She didn't want to be a pastor's wife. She didn't want to live in Canada. There was cultural differences with me being West Indian, her being African American. And so we were at a boiling point, at the point where I was feeling like, you know,
Like I didn't want to support
like you
him.
didn't really want to support me. So it was not like in the beginning where it's like I'm thinking, yeah, you need to do this. It was sort of like, I thought we're having a breakthrough here. You're about to do the children's story. Like, there's a breakthrough here. Like, okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, there's a positive
Right,
thing.
okay.
Yeah.
One more time, you're not going to do this. You're not, you know. So
yeah.
it was just like, it blew up.
So
we're in a car.
Yeah, we're in the car. And we have to say, we were in, I don't know why we were in Buffalo.
We lived in Buffalo. We lived in Buffalo.
Well, I know we lived there, but I don't know why we were in Buffalo at the time. We were arguing about the children's story, going back.
We had dropped our kids off because we were going to have a romantic, nice night together.
Were we?
So,
Oh
we were
my
going to
goodness.
so headed to the romantic night, you have this huge blow up argument?
We had this huge blow up. We were heading back from church. We dropped the
Right.
kids off with my mom. We're heading back. We're heading across the
Rainbow Bridge.
the Rainbow Bridge across Niagara
Niagara
Falls,
Falls, yeah.
to go back to where we lived, and the kids were back in Toronto. And and the wedding rings was interesting because anyone that, I mean, not everybody is Adventist on this podcast, but Adventists at that time, and especially in the culture, was not really into jewelry. We're jewelry and stuff like that. So for the longest time, I never wore a wedding band.
Neither of us did.
And so Rita
Okay.
had thought, you know, I would like this wedding band, and that was a discussion in and of itself, just to get the wedding band, because I was like, I don't need a wedding band. Like, I love you. Like, what's the, you know, and So in the conversation, as I'm telling her about my sadness and how I feel like you're not being a supportive pastor's wife, she's telling me it's all about the church, and it's not about me. You didn't even want this ring, did you? You didn't even want this ring because I had to like ask you and and it went back to all this stuff, and we're going back and forth. Oh. Well, I'm just gonna, and she starts winding down the window. And he said, if you don't want this,
but he was like, "Do it then."
Do it then. I was like, "Do it." Oh. You never do what you never do what you say you're gonna do.
Oh,
follow through like you should have followed through with the children's story.
What?
But she was like,
what?
oh yeah, watch me follow through. Then she takes her ring out the window into the Niagara Falls.
No.
Well, you might as well take this one too so they can be together because I didn't want it. Boom. Mine goes out the window, and now both of our wedding rings are in Niagara Falls together. The first ones. They're together.
Guys.
Happily together at the bottom of Niagara Falls.
So
my goodness.
My question is, in the timeline, how close is this incident to when you guys ended up basically splitting up as a family?
Okay, so that was probably 2000 and...
What is that?
That might have been 2009 or 10. Could have been 2009 or 10.
They're saying this.
11, maybe 2011.
Yeah.
So, 2013, I had a new church. I went to another church. And at that church, I was having some problems with one of my leadership. Really difficult times. And we're going through financial problems. We're losing our house. It's foreclosed. They're coming in repossessing our cars because
at this point you have all 4 kids now, right? So Shiloh,
we have all 4 kids.
Yeah,
I was, you know how I was saying I was trying to find myself in the career.
Yeah.
Though there's no way to do all of those positions unless you're constantly quitting jobs, right?
Oh my goodness, that's true.
Follow through, Rita. Follow through with something.
Hold on.
Stop for a second.
Doc Swan just said they need their own show.
They have
Doc Swan.
Look them up, Doc Swan.
Okay, just look up Onyx Family.
We need
to
have Onyx Family on the screen.
It should be here right now.
You need to get that going because you will be able to see so much more.
Yes.
I mean, they're on Amazon Prime. Okay, just look them up.
Yeah.
And
it's true.
And I agree. You should have a show, and you do. Yes. So anyway, go ahead.
We definitely want to share more about our story with people because a lot of people look at us what we have now and they don't realize everything we went through. But it's hard.
And we also have our own talk show coming out where we have several celebrities. We were in California. We just came back. We have several celebrities that we do a talk show with the whole family.
But we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later.
Oh yes, we definitely want you to talk about that.
There was definitely a lot of of me bouncing around from job to job.
Yeah.
And that was sparking a lot of arguments, and it was putting us in a financial hole because I wasn't being consistent enough in one job to bring in the money. So again, it's not doing wonders for my self-esteem. It's really not helping our marriage. You know, we're arguing. We're trying to be come to church and put on smiles as pastor and, in the family. Meanwhile, sometimes we didn't know if we were going to be able to. There was this one moment in time where we didn't even know we were going to be able to get from church back home because we had no more money. Our gas tank was on empty, and he was supposed to get paid that day.
Right. I was supposed to get paid, but because our bank account continuously was overdrafted,
right?
Because we just didn't have enough.
It was just crazy.
They would not release my money on the weekend. They want to make sure that the check goes through from the conference. So they wouldn't release it. So I'm preaching not knowing if we're going to be able to leave the parking lot. Cars on E, and we're shaking everybody's hands. It was unheard of because we usually are,
I was all emotional that day. People just thought, oh, the spirit's moving.
They're moving.
Yeah, but
they didn't know.
This is so embarrassing.
How are we going to get home?
Oh my goodness.
We shook everybody's hand that day.
And we tried to be the last people there.
Got in the car. Thank God it turned on. We were able to make it to the bank that was closest to the church. And I begged the bank teller, please release just $10 from my check so I can get home.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, guys, I just want to stop you for a minute because Chimes, you've got to share right now.
Yeah, please
share. You've got to share because everyone needs to hear this story right now.
Yes. So people are saying, in the comments, OMG, I just visited their channel. They're legit. Come on, Black Excellence.
Aw,
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They got a network.
No, they got a network. She knows that.
What a story. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So here's the thing. Would you guys describe this time period as financial rock bottom? Is that how you
Right.
think of it?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Remember how we were living in New York and I had to travel into Toronto to work? Part of that was because, anyhow, forget that. Just we're traveling in.
Yeah.
They took away our van. We had a Honda Odyssey. You guys remember the Honda Odyssey?
Yes.
Of course.
Well,
Yeah.
But
we got
another
one because of you
we got one
guys.
because of you guys.
So we got the car repossessed. Not that one, but the next one that we bought. It got repossessed because we just couldn't afford it. And now we're driving a Matrix. 6 of us in a Matrix. So every Sabbath, before I would preach, I would pull up to the border. I would get out with my passport and walk across the bridge to the Canadian side, while Rita would present like if it's just them, because that's the only seatbelts that were there, or else they'd call the cops on us. And then I would get back in the car on the Canadian side, and we would just pray that the police wouldn't stop us on the highway as I'm heading into Toronto. And every Sabbath, while our car was repossessed, that's what we had to do in my mom's Matrix.
Yeah, we were
So
really.
the stress level had to be extremely high during that time.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. I literally feel like that's why I went gray early. I'm serious. Like I'm serious. It was so much stress, and we didn't know how we were going to get out of it. I wasn't finding whatever I was searching for. I was not finding. And there were times, and I think this is important, that I was like, well, we can't really pay our tithe. And I was like, we don't have enough money. And I think that's pivotal, because as you guys asked us about when we split up, what happened was I was running out of options because we had decided, okay, let's go live in Toronto, because we were doing the whole, Buffalo, New York and Toronto. And that was one of the reasons why we were having financial issues, because his paycheck, we were getting it chopped almost in half when you do the exchange rate to pay for our American bills. And so we said, okay, why don't we just devote our time and just live in Toronto? And I had been resistant to that for a long time. But the problem was this. I was thinking it was going to be just like when I transferred my nursing, like from state to state, because I was licensed in a bunch of states. And then what happened, though, they were like, oh, no, it's going to take a year. So we were like, I was like, I'm not going to be able to work for a year. And then we were like, I was like, well, should I get a job at this like drugstore? Like, I didn't know what was happening. And I could just think about the members coming in going, oh, Sister Mitchell, like a lot of thoughts,
Even though we were going to, and Rita was in the beginning stages, Rita was like, we can't pay our tithe. I was like, no, we have to pay our tithe. We have to pay our tithe. That's not a question. And I had the conference make sure, just so that we weren't tempted, I had the conference, I said, take my tithe out of my paycheck so I don't even have to touch it. I didn't want the temptation. We have to pay tithe. So that was one of the things that was a stickler for us. You've got to give God
like non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
Right.
Non-negotiable. And this is why we were poor. There was a few non-negotiables that we had, and that was one of them, like during that time. Absolute loyalty to God.
But then what happened was, because I found out I wasn't going to work for a year, I decided to start looking at some other jobs. Now, my grandparents at the time needed help. So they were like, why don't you come to Texas and help us out down here? And I was very resistant to that. I did not want to go down to Texas because I did not want to separate my family. Because I knew, because of my own upbringing, which is a whole nother podcast, I did not want to be without my children. So I knew if I was not going to leave without my children. So they were going to come with me.
I thought that she was going to go just for a little while. So I was like, I'm tired of losing everything. At this point in time, we lost our house. Yeah. And now we were getting really kicked out of, we didn't have the rent for the other place that we had. So now we were about to be homeless.
And your car was already repossessed. Your car was already repossessed too.
Car was repossessed. Yeah. She didn't want to move in with my mom at the time. My dad is now gone. She didn't want to move with my mom, which I fully understand. So I said, why don't you go back to Texas just for a very brief time, get a job, let's just catch up for just a couple months. And then you can come back and then we can pick up from there.
But I felt like, if I get a job out there, why would I now come back to this chaos? So I knew to myself, like, why would I say, I'm going to go all the way down there and then quit again. Because by this point, my mentality is changing and I see where I am going wrong financially. And I was like, the next job I get, I'm staying.
So the way I saw that was, oh, how convenient. Now that you're in the United States of America, which where you always wanted to be and you didn't want to be in Canada, how convenient now that you're going to stay out in the United States. So I'm like, oh, okay.
I see you.
I see you this and I'll move you this. I was just like, okay. I was like, I get that, but I was willing to play that because I was so desperate. I was like, I need
but I
help
didn't want it.
Financially.
I really didn't want to. And so I went really resistant. But Mirthell was like, don't worry, I'll come out every other week and we'll do this.
And then we can come back.
I went down there.
I'm not coming back, Mirthell. I have a job now. That's it.
Because I got a nice job. It was paying well. Then I got another job. We started to catch up financially.
She was making bank, y'all.
And I was just like, oh, well, why don't I get an apartment out here? And by this point, Mirthell's like, well, this is only supposed to be temporary. But I'm like, my license is not coming in Toronto. And I don't know what's going on with that. This must be where God wants me. That's what I started to say.
God wants me here in the United States of America.
Wow.
So I started saying, I was like, okay. But then they tried to sweeten the pot for her. And they said, we will offer your husband a chaplaincy job. We want you so badly to offer you a chaplaincy job.
No, but wait.
I didn't know that.
But Mirthell's like, he skipped something. Let me tell you how God works. Because I feel like God had me get, like this job that looked great on the outside, but I did not know that they were getting ready to sell their company. So they were selling their company, and I noticed something. I'm getting paid this like full salary, but I'm barely seeing any patients.
She's not going anywhere.
And I'm starting to put two and two together, like, oh man, this job that I said that I would not leave looks like it may not last. Yeah. So I started to kind of feel around and say, like, what's the status like financially? And they're like, oh no, we're good, Rita, we're good. And I was like, because I'm thinking about maybe I need to switch jobs. And they were like, no, we can guarantee you 6 months. And then, first of all, why was that supposed to make me feel better? 6 months? I want to.
That's not long enough.
Right.
Exactly. You want a career.
If I'm going to move to the States.
So then that's when they were like, yeah, but, and I was like, my husband, he's in Toronto. Well, we can actually get him down here if you want. He could be a chaplain. And so then we're both out of work in 6 months. That's right.
Oh man. Yeah.
So I was like, Lord, all right. At this point in time, Mirthell's like, why don't you just come on back? Forget waiting for this license, because we tried the whole you work out here and we tried the whole flying every other week. And it was just a lot. I felt like I could see in my kids the difference of them and not being with their father. And it was depressing. I was literally in a bad mood for, I would say, for 4 months, because I didn't realize how much I felt. I think you always think you can go home, but once you make that home, with your husband and your family, that's your home. And so I had no idea I was going to feel so lonely, even though I was back with my family. My parents.
I remember one time she drove all the way out there for a booty call. It was like, what? 22 hours. I was like,
wow, Rita.
Surprise.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Y'all didn't get preg again?
Yeah, girl, after the 4th, I made sure that wasn't going to happen again.
You're done now. Okay, so you guys now you're living separately. You're trying to figure out how to get it back together. Where does the YouTube thing come in at this point?
So Rita, up until that point in time, I had been trying to get a job out in the States. I tried to get into several conferences, could not get anywhere, just couldn't get anywhere. And so what ended up happening was she decided, okay, well, you're probably not going to get a job in the States, so I am going to come back. And I'm going to just see if my license will come in and I'll get a job. It didn't come in yet, but I'll just see. So she just said, I don't really want our family to be separate. Right. I think this is very important.
No matter what is happening financially, I said,
I'm going to be a pastor's wife. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to accept it. And this is it. I am Canadian from now on.
Right. I was telling everybody, guys, I'm Canadian now. I love it. I love Canada. And I
Oh
was
my
like, Lord,
goodness.
I'll be wherever you want me to be, just as long as my family is together. And I had like this renewed commitment.
Yeah, she was committed.
To whatever job I
Wow.
was going to get. I was not going to quit. I was never going to have my family be separated
Right.
again. Even though it was 4 months, to me, it was 4 months of just like hell.
Right.
Because I
Yeah.
wanted my family together and I hated what I felt like it was doing to my children.
And I can say
So-
for the very first time when she came back after 4 months, and we were in my mom's basement. And 1 week as we were back, 1 week, yes, Saba, oh Canada.
Yes.
1 week after she came back, she got the license came in, and she got a higher paying job than she had in the States.
Yeah.
No
So-
way.
God was affirming everything. And when Rita came back, Rita was sitting in the front row of the church
Oh yeah.
every
It
Saturday.
was like
Front row.
pastor's wife, like to the nth
I
degree.
was like rejoicing. Like
Yeah.
I would sit, all the church members, if there are any on here that know me, I would sit in the front row with my family because my dad was a pastor and I never got to really sit with him. So what I would do is I wouldn't sit on the rostrum. I would sit with my family. And then Rita was beside me and then all the children were there and we'd be
Yeah.
on the front row. And then I'd go up and preach. I was like, yes, finally, I will preach the word of God.
But this was like, honestly, it was a renewed commitment. And a lot of times we don't realize how everything else spills into your marriage. You know, like because I wasn't committed in other areas, it was causing so much more stress in our marriage. But once I decided to recommit everything, that was the beginning of a very sweet time in our marriage. And we were able to really connect. And where did you two come in from that? After I now
Not
say,
even a year after coming
and
back.
after I now say, I'm a Canadian now, everybody. I get this offer with the people I was working with in Canada. They're like, Rita, we want to open up a medical company in Florida. We want you to be the CEO of it because you're the American. And I was like,
we're going to pay
cool,
you. You're
all
going
right,
to get
let's do
shares.
this.
You're going to get everything. And so that became a battle for me because at this point in time,
yeah,
I
sweet
had
time
just
is over now.
I had just gotten my perfect family
Yeah.
to sit
Right.
in the
Yes.
floor with me. So
Yes.
Yeah.
God. And now it's like all of a sudden, like she's like, so I want
Bye.
to go to Florida, and it was, we had struggled financially for so much that I knew that this was an opportunity that it was going to be very hard to
It was
let
very
say
hard because
no.
I didn't want to
Yeah.
separate again. Because remember, I had just said I
Right.
don't ever want to be separated again. So we were talking. We were talking about what should we do, and he was like, "Well, maybe you should fly down there and then see how it goes. But remember, I don't want to be without my children.
Right.
So
And
I
they
was
don't
like,
want
no.
my children to be without me. So
Right.
it was
Yeah.
very tough. And
Very
I
tough.
did not want, I just got ministry that I wanted. Even though I'd been
Yeah.
a ordained pastor for almost 17 years, I had just got the real deal now, like the one
Yeah.
that I had always wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's being taken away. And the question to me was, is Rita taking it away? Because I didn't see
Wow.
God's hand in this yet. So I'm just thinking, oh, she's up to her old tricks again. She's trying to get me to move to the
Right, like
States.
he thinks I'm restless, and then
Right.
my past history with jobs isn't making him comfortable to say,
So I'm
"Oh,
like-
I'll go with you," because what if I
Right.
drop that in a few months?
Right. So I'm just like,
Exactly.
you don't want to be a nurse. And this is a nurse practitioner based job, even though you're the CEO and hiring the doctors. I don't know. Are you going to be able to stay there? So long story short, we eventually go. But we go, and I am very, very resentful.
Now
of the
you said
whole-
Really?
we.
So
You
you-
said we go. So obviously you left.
You went together.
I left. I went to the
ahead,
pastor.
but he.
I went to my president and I told my president that I'm resigning. And I'm resigning off this date, which was
Like
October
a few
from
months.
April, which would have given us a few months. I was hoping to buy a few months just in case something didn't work out with her. I would still have, maybe I could say to the president, hey, I take that back. You know,
Right.
like,
Right.
just like trying to maneuver, and I was flying
Yeah.
back and forth. And but we ended up deciding that we were going to go together. But I was very resentful, very angry,
Which is another low point in our marriage.
very low point,
Very,
very low
Wow.
point.
very low.
Because I am not a happy camper, and I'm making her know that
Yeah.
like, you know, now I am
You
40.
did this.
I'm 40 at this time. All I know is ministry, and I had a marriage and family therapy practice, ironically. But it was just like, I was
Wow.
angry. I was like, what do I have now? I don't even have anything to start over. I'm not an American citizen, so I don't have my land papers, so I can't work.
Wow.
I mean, it's a very low point for me because a man's purpose is everything for him. It's so
Yeah.
important. Like
Yeah.
God gave you us like a purpose, and He gave you your wife, and it's sort of like ministry, loving God and family intertwined because it was always about family ministry for me. So everything I preached was on family ministry, marriage, family and everything. So it's sort of like, I can't stay back in Toronto because I'll be preaching, but I won't be living.
Wow.
Oh, I'll be living, but I won't be able to do anything, financially. I was in a very tough spot, guys. It was very hard.
Yeah. So, and then sadly, what he predicted would happen started to happen. I started to get restless. I started to hate what I was doing, and it didn't matter that I was the CEO. Now I'm scared to tell him, because now it's oh my goodness, he's down here in Florida. We're all out here. I hate what I'm doing. Now what? Now we can't even go back to ministry. And so at that time, I started juggling several jobs, because as I'm getting ready for this company, I take other jobs while I'm getting ready. And I have like maybe 4 or 5 jobs now. So I'm up and gone by 7 in the morning, and I am back at 6, but then I'm charting from like 7 to midnight. And that was my schedule, like 6 days a week. Wow. And I couldn't take it, and I was exhausted. And one day I said to the family, I'm like, I started to see these people on YouTube, and I'm like, man, how do they get to live this life? What do they even do? They're just making videos. At the time, I thought it was just pick a video and you put it on there, and then that's it. You get paid. I didn't know about all the details. I just knew that I wanted that life. And even if I couldn't get exactly what they have, I needed something where we were as a family doing something together so that we could spend time. Because I wasn't seeing my kids, I wasn't seeing Mirthell, and I was like, man, this is not worth it. But I thought, you know what? If we make some funny family videos, what's the worst that can happen? We could all have some great memories.
So Rita says, so Rita is preparing to tell me that she no longer wants to work at this thing because she doesn't like it. And why don't we do YouTube?
No, because I didn't think that I was gonna not do it.
Right.
I just felt like I was just gonna be miserable, but I made the commitment. This is what I'm gonna have to do. And what happened was I brought the kids in and I said, guys, how would you guys like to make some like funny videos? And they were like, what are you talking about? And I showed them, and I was like, and Mirthell wasn't in the room because remember I was scared to tell him. So I was like, and I said, guys, not only could this be fun for our family, but if this takes off, I've seen people make money. I had no clue how much people made, but I saw people doing it as a job, and I figured it might be enough to live off of. So I said, but this is not something I want to do on my own, only if you guys are comfortable with this, and then we could just like make some fun family memories. So they were like, okay. And Mirthell walks in at the time while everybody's going, all right. And he goes, what are y'all talking about? And I was like, oh no.
So we had been having conversations in the bed, like bedroom conversations. In those bedroom conversations, she had already been sharing with me that she's restless with the job. She's looking for something else, and she's going to be searching. So for me, she was scared to tell me because she's thinking, if I tell him that one of my thoughts that's going on is that I'm looking for something else and possibly YouTube may be one of these options, she's thinking, I'm going to be like, I did not leave ministry, marriage and family therapy, and my college to be a clown.
Right.
To be a clown.
Right.
I did not do that. I went there only to support you because you were going to go into the medical ministry, and that is a good Adventist transition. A good Adventist transition where, everybody would respect it. And when they write it in the newspaper, they say, Pastor Mitchell and his family are now going to be a part of the medical ministry, his wife.
Right.
Suspicious doctor, all that stuff. So I wanted, I was thinking more along those lines, not Pastor Mitchell is going to be a clown. And he's going to go stick M&M's up his nose while his wife boxes him in his face to get M&M out.
Yeah.
That's not what I was doing. I never asked. God was not sending me for that.
To his credit, he hears what I say. He says, all right. And then that day we go and get some
But
costumes.
there's a reason. Hold on. Let me tell him the reason why I said okay. The whole time I had been praying because I was very miserable. I was very angry, very resentful. But God had brought me to a place where I was like in the Word, and I was reading a text that was talking about the widow and her son, who was in a bind like we were kind of could be in, where she had no money and they had to take the oil and they had to pour the oil out. And so I said to God, I want a time to pray and fast with my family. But I felt that if I told Rita that I wanted to pray and fast, Rita would say to me, you're this miserable guy that you don't even practice what you preach. You're a marriage and family therapist, but you don't act like one with me. Like what? I don't want to pray and fast with you. Like, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, she will never want to pray and fast with me over this thing, even though I felt God was calling me. Wow. And she's thinking, I will never accept anything that she came with, like YouTube or whatever. So when she told me that, automatically I was like, yes, let's do it. I'll go out. I'll go buy some costumes. I'll be Batman. The kids, because that's what we were doing. The trend at that time was superheroes. So I was going to be Batman, or I was going to be the Hulk, actually. And then the kids were Batman and Spider-Man, and we're going to all dress up and do these silly things. Except for her. She would not dress up as one of them. But we would.
Right.
I didn't say no.
I know you didn't say no, but I'm just saying I was going to be the clown.
Oh.
So then afterwards, she was surprised. I was like, yes, let's do it. I said, and you know what? Let's pray and fast about it. So I was able to, she was happy. I was able to pray. And we went, and our family entered into a season of praying and fasting.
Yeah, it's true.
In March.
So from the
ended in
get-go,
season of praying in March.
Yeah.
Right around the time where, things were a little bit tentative.
Like I was making a lot of money doing what I was doing, but at the cost of my time, right? So when we went into praying and fasting, it was like, we need to change our life, and it needs to be something permanent, Lord. Like, we cannot keep doing this, Yeah. And so he was like, let's just make this pray and fast about it. And I was like, absolutely. So when we first started, we dedicated our channel, and every single video, and to this day, we pray before we upload. We pray for our audience. It's always like, it's everything was for God. And so immediately, I would say,
that very month it blew up.
In 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Wow.
It just
No
changed.
lie. It's never been that way for anyone else. We've tried to help so many people. It has never been that way. But after we prayed and fasted, we just dedicated ourselves to it, and within 2 weeks, it blew up, y'all. I'm talking like it was like viral. One of our first videos was like 1 million something.
No, 3 million overnight.
3 million overnight.
And it was
Our first month, $27,000 hit our bank account. We've never seen that much money just hit there
never.
one time.
We thought it was fake. We were like, this can't be real.
Like,
Can't
what?
be real. Right.
And so I was like, well, if it's like this, I can just quit these nurse practitioner jobs.
I was like, yeah.
And he was like, yeah, but let's just wait till it hits though. So
Every month,
right, when it hit,
125,000. Third month, 275,000. I mean, I'm just blowing our minds, like just blowing our minds.
So
God was just taking us to another level.
I did end up quitting all the nurse practitioner jobs, and then except that one job where I was supposed to be the CEO, I said, well, I would like to not be on, like, I don't want to do clinical. I'll just train someone, because now I'm like trying to work with my family, and the people I was working with, though, they still wanted me to do like the nurse job, and I already knew by this time that I had now finally found my sweet spot in business, not the medical field, but business. And so basically, I ended up cutting ties with that.
Pause for a second. Let me say real quick. Since we were kids, like when I met you at 9, I always thought you had a businesswoman quality to you. I don't know what it is.
Really?
Wow.
Always.
Wow.
At Oakwood,
That's great to know.
at seminary, everything. It was like if you really wanted to know how to do something, ask Rita.
I was just going to say.
And even if she doesn't know how to do it,
her-
she'll figure it out.
I know.
And it had like a businesswoman quality to it. I don't know what it was. But
Rita
that's always been
definitely
you.
has that.
That's
So
always been
well-read.
you.
Yes.
Always figuring out things, and then you kind of like leading us along the way. So there was a lot of transitions. I mean, I know we don't have a lot of time, but I just want to put this out there. There was a lot of transitions that it was very difficult to get through. But for one, recognizing that Rita is gifted in this area, I went from being a pastor who had always led a church and head the church to now respecting and submitting myself to her leadership.
Wow.
And I had
That's
to learn
amazing.
from the paradigm of who submission in the home, the paradigm that God has, and finding myself submitting to the God in her, the God quality in her. Because at the end of the day, this woman definitely knows business and knows how to lead.
Oh, yeah.
And the
the
thing about Rita, that's the other thing. It's not just the well-read. It's not
Yeah.
just the well-read part. She also has like an instinct. Something about like, look at a situation and say, that's not gonna work. Or you know what? If we do it like this, it will work. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
a
God-given.
thing. There's no question it comes from the
God-given.
Lord. And
Oh,
the Lord
yeah.
has blessed you with that thing, Rita. Anyway,
yeah.
sorry to cut you off. We'll keep going.
And another
Thank you so
thing,
much.
and another good thing about it is that when God gives you something new, when you're looking for something and nothing is working out. When we were in Canada, I felt like I was fine. I knew what I wanted, but she was not. What God was giving us is where everybody is fine, where everyone is fine,
Right.
where God is in this thing. And so I was able to now if I were to go back to pastoral ministry, I would say no, I would never go back into the pulpit, because I've always been that creative person that would do things from a creative angle. And so to move from being behind a pulpit to having an audience of like 3.5 billion views now, like worldwide.
Wow.
Like I could not have imagined at this time that God was moving me into arena of worldwide. I could never have imagined that. All I saw was I have nothing, and my wife is leading me down the path of perdition to nothing. I could not see where God was leading this thing. But God wanted the family to be in front of the world, so that that an image of Him, a family, and an image of Him would be sent to the world, and I give God praise for that.
And the way I just want to say, like, the reason why we know that it's definitely for us is because, like he said, it's not just me. Every single one of our family members, every single one of us seem to all fit together perfectly to do what we do. And if you guys know our family, like, you know, we have one daughter, she comes up, she thinks so differently that it makes videos way more creative and unique. We have another daughter who does all of our music and tech, and she just naturally gifted to that. And we have another daughter who's just fully into the editing and makes everything shine. And then
exercising.
We have so many brands and things. And so I see how God put it all together. And we went through years of struggle, years of arguing. It doesn't mean that, like I think for us, we're definitely not, I think, this perfect couple, but we have found our sweet spot. Yeah. And we have found, like, through wisdom, through probably getting older now, and just being in a situation where we all really seem to meld, it has helped us tremendously.
It seems like you found your purpose as a family, and what God gave to you was the thing you've been after this whole time. What you really wanted was your family to be able to be intact and to be together and to do things, and all this other stuff was getting in the way. And you wanted to be able to have a car and keep a house and stuff like that, but you also wanted to be able to be with each other as a family. And look what God did. He put that whole thing together. By the way, is it safe to say, I don't know if this is safe, but is it safe to say that Shiloh, as the only male child in the family, is sort of like, I don't know, I just think of Michael Jackson in the Jackson 5. He's like Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Is he like the star? You know what I'm saying? What is Shiloh's role in that?
Funny, but he ends up being the star.
Everybody, like all the fans, everybody always wants to see him. You know what I'm saying? Like he has a star appeal.
And nowadays, he's grown so much. His voice is all deep now. And
my goodness,
people are like, oh, we miss Shiloh from, you know, when he was a kid. It's like he grew up on camera. Right. And but it's been fun because I always check in with the family, like, how are you guys feeling? And now they know, like, this is not just a YouTube channel. Now it's like, it's a business. You know, we trademarked early. Yeah. And so there's a lot of, like, we incorporated, they were made partners right away, officially, like on the book, so that they always knew that they were working for themselves, not just for your mom or your dad, but that it was a company that we were building as a family. And since that time, we just actually, at dinner tonight, we were just talking about it, and everyone was just talking about how much purpose they felt and how God was preparing us for this moment from even years ago when we didn't know. So my message is to a lot of other people who ask about it. I'm always like, just push through whatever you're going through, because you never know where God is leading you. Because I would have never thought this would be where my life would be, not with all the craziness that we had gone through.
I remember in my first churches, going to prayer meeting, and this was the time where I was doing the homeschooling because Rita was in school trying to get through. And I remember how when there'd be like some of the only kids at prayer meeting, because you know how prayer meeting is. And I would be sitting there after a full day of homeschooling, feeling guilty that I'm not doing my work as a pastor enough because I'm spending too much time with the family doing homeschool, and I need to get out. Rita, when are you coming home? When are you coming home? Okay, now I'm gone. Now I'm driving to go and do the work of the Lord, you know, and it's just like, but then these days on prayer meeting times where I bring my kids because Rita was out in clinicals or something, and I'm just like, God, like, I'm homeschooling them, but do they even know math? Do they even know English? Like, are they going to be like talking like, yeah, what is we doing? Or just switching up things? And like, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Lord, God, please help me. I'd put on like SpongeBob, or I'd put on like the Wild Thornberries in the car on our way back, get them pizza. And they'd used to be like, oh, yeah, Dad. They'd like to go to prayer meeting for the pizza and the cartoons. But
of course.
You know, right. And then fast forward years later now. My kids are now sitting at the executive tables with the producer of SpongeBob, creating the producer of the SpongeBob movie.
Wow.
And they're writing the original theme songs, and they're getting the credits for it. They are sitting at the table with the producer of the Proud Family,
In fact,
as they're helping us to create our family cartoon.
In
The
fact,
Proud
I have
Family.
a call with her after this, because we've been able to, working on some other projects, and so it's just.
And here's the
it's a
reason why I
blessing.
say this story. I say the story is because while we're sitting around worried about our lives, and our future, God is laughing because He already sees it. The things they're watching is shaping their minds, because do you know where they're going to be? This is the lane I am putting them in, because I want them to be in front of the world, because I am about to come. And I need families and preachers and individuals that will represent me in the language of the people. So when you're going to homes, you are winning them over, and I need real people.
Yes.
And that was God's plan. And I wish I could take credit, but I didn't, because I was angry the whole time. Angry with the pastor because she wasn't getting with it. Angry with my life because I didn't think I was doing anything. Angry with the fact that nobody wanted to hire me. Angry just that, who am I, God? Am I nothing?
Right.
Am I nobody? And just to see that God was just sitting there, child, calm down.
Right.
Relax.
Wow, what a story.
You
and
guys are
we've
such
heard your
inspiration,
story, but we haven't heard your story.
Yeah, right.
Because this is just amazing that God had it all worked out from the beginning, and we keep Him from being able to move.
Yes, and he's not finished with you yet.
No, he's
Obviously,
not. Yes.
This is turning into more and more, and we're so proud of you guys.
So
we're so
proud
glad
of
that you've
y'all.
been faithful.
Yes.
We think that original decision that you made to not pull back on making sure you were faithful to the Lord, I think that probably set the whole trajectory of everything that you're doing, because it gave you the mindset that says everything that we get in this situation belongs to Him. You're
Exactly.
acknowledging that from the beginning. And it's just awesome, man. Anyway, you guys are amazing.
You are.
Thank you for sharing this story with us and this time.
Yes.
We didn't get enough time. We'll do it another time to really get into, some of the stuff that, people want to hear, like, the stories that we know about, the stuff you guys used to do.
Things we used to talk about.
Things we used to talk about.
Guys.
Invite us back again.
Yeah,
yeah.
Of course.
John and April's 30-day intimacy, and you can live the Onyx life too.
That's right. Now, you guys actually took our boot camp last time.
Yes, we did, and we enjoyed it.
Did it help?
Absolutely.
Did it help you a little bit, Mirthell?
Hey, one session. Remember, I wrote you that one session that we did.
I do remember.
I
Yes.
tell you, I was like, what? I mean, I can get into the Word of God, into Songs of Solomon, and it
Getting that word, man.
transpires.
That's right.
Yes.
Getting that word. You know what I'm
Wonderful
saying?
magic. We're about to go get into the Bible after we're done.
I'm about to go.
Yeah.
Rita's like, I'm about to do some business calls, okay? No, but before you go, can you tell the audience, do you have anything? Well, you always have big stuff going on, but can you tell us some of the things that are coming up with the Onyx Family?
Something we can look forward to, maybe something around the corner that we need to keep our eyes out for.
Yeah, in October, we actually filmed something called Onyx Family Dinner, and it's actually like a family talk show where we have a guest over for dinner, and we talk about different topics. And it's interesting because it's another side of us, because we're going to be talking about racism and about politics, even,
Black
and
hair.
about black hair,
Everything, yeah.
about like growing your own food. So we have different guests, and
Really, people that you're going to know, definitely celebrities that you're going to know in the industry. And
so that's going to premiere in, I think, October this fall. And
where are we going to be able to find it?
I'm not sure if this is going to be that soon.
Well, you can actually go on our channel. It's produced by YouTube Originals.
Okay.
And some other studios that were involved, some production companies. And then we do have our season 2 of our cartoon that's coming out in October.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And is that on Amazon?
Yes,
that is on
will be
Amazon. The first
Prime.
is on Amazon, and
and then we
And what's the name of the cartoon?
Onyx Monster Mysteries.
Onyx Monster Mysteries.
Yeah, we're like
It's kinda like a
Scooby
Scooby-Doo type of.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And it's fun.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
It's very cute. It's very cute.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
really cute and fun. And then we just have some other products and some other shows and things in the pipeline that it's all in development, and it's just we're really
exciting things,
yeah.
but we can't really say what.
Of course
what-
not.
Yeah,
And
until
if you
soon.
see my face, I'm
You
over
give
here
us
like
that.
I'm looking like a mother. I'm like,
Biting your
I'm
bottom
just
lip.
like-
going Southwest
Just so
Airlines. If you
proud.
ever fly Southwest Airlines, we're there for the children's option, so your children can watch some of our products while you're
Oh,
flying.
awesome.
Yeah.
So if you have small children, you definitely want to check out Onyx Kids. It's amazing. I think your
Yes,
kids will
it's
love
so
it.
good.
They may never put
So let
down
me just
YouTube
say
again.
this. I was at my school in Atlanta, and I was like, no, John and Julie were at school, and they were like, yeah, what happened? They said,
You guys came over. You guys were in town for something, or we were in town at your house. We went to Huntsville.
we went to Huntsville.
And we came to see you guys. And
John and Julie were talking about Onyx Kids and how, they were like,
well, they were saying something
they were
about
saying
their
about
cousins.
their cousins,
You know, how they
the
went
Onyx
to go.
Kids,
Yeah.
whatever. And the kids were like, Onyx Kids? You guys know Onyx Kids? And my kids hadn't watched anything like that yet.
Right.
Because I think when we came, that was the first time that they had experienced Onyx Kids. And they were like, you know the Onyx Kids? And they were like, yeah, what? I don't get it. Like,
right.
what do you mean? The kids go crazy, right? And they're like, can you get us posters? I don't know if you guys remember this. So you gave us posters.
And signed them.
And signed them for the kids at their school. And they were so
Aw,
amped.
that's sweet.
So
Very nice.
just so you know, my kids were super popular that
Right, exactly.
during that week or so.
Can you put up David Steed's comment for a second? Do you
Oh,
see that?
the one I had
Steve is
before.
on?
Yeah,
David is
Steve
on?
is here. Well, actually, he might not
Yeah,
be
there
here
he
anymore.
is.
But here's his comment. Look,
What is it?
when you
When
find
you
your
find
sweet
your
spot,
spot.
do you immediately start looking like one of Saddam Hussein's sons, or does that happen over time? Just saying. He talking about the way you.
I want to say it because Russell doesn't believe me when I say, sometimes I feel like he does look Arab,
yeah.
And I'm like, one time he wanted to go to the border, and somebody had given him a gift that looked like one of those like knit caps that people
Right.
wear like at the mosque.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, and this is like after 9/11. So I'm like, please don't go to the border in the And he's like, "What, Rita? What? I'm Jamaican.
Yeah.
They're not gonna think." And I'm like, "Please."
Steve is still here. He said, "I'm just saying."
Thank you,
And-
David. Thank you.
And for those that need to know, David and Wanda Steed were in our crew.
We're
We were
in
at
our
seminary
crew,
together.
so they know all the juicy details.
They
as
had two
well.
kids as well. They were married.
We had.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then
Great
Good
times.
time.
Can I say one more thing real quick?
Of course. Yes.
Also, because Mirthell had made an allusion to it. He said, I was like, "Oh, I want a ring." Remember, we were married so young, and I looked so young
It's true.
that people kept saying to me, "Are all these kids yours?" And they would make
Wow.
comments like
Like she's a single mother. That
I had multiple fathers or something like that. So I said to him, "Look, I know that we're at a very conservative church at the time, and nobody really, but actually everybody there had wedding rings. But I guess
They just didn't want you to wear one.
They just didn't want you to
They
wear
can
it.
wear it,
Right.
you can't wear it.
I am an old Adventist. You understand? I'm a very old Adventist.
I was like, please, can we just get a ring, just a simple gold ring, just so that people know, and even when I'm working, and I have the kids, so that people know, like, hey, she's married and she has these kids. So I looked like,
Right.
and I felt like at the time it sent a better message to the
Of
world.
course.
Right.
Yeah.
Than what it, so
Yeah.
so that's basically why. So yeah, those are in the Niagara Falls, but
And
we replaced it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
for
Replaced
sure,
it.
for sure. Now, when you are in, when you're in the media, it was very important for us to make sure we don't really preach a lot of Jesus. Like if you go on our YouTube, your children are not going to see Jesus and hear Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. But what we believe is by beholding, you become change. And so as people, we desperately need in our Black communities to have intact families that are showing love, showing understanding, and being transparent at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we feel that that's our ministry. That's like the bulk of our ministry.
Yeah.
A lot of kids are growing up. They're very sad. They're looking for answers, and they can live
Yes.
vicariously through the
Yeah.
Onyx family, like we did.
Yeah.
A lot of us did with the Cosby Show, and
Right.
Yes.
Right.
so
Yeah.
I see
Well,
it.
you
That's
guys
beautiful.
are doing a wonderful thing. I think it's
Yes.
an excellent ministry. I love the fact, Mirthell, that you said you're the kind of person that wants to be creative, and you've always been that way. And it's hard for you to just do the cookie cutter way of doing things. And look what God allowed you to do, a different way of being able to impact the world. And you guys are really
And
doing
families.
it. There's
It's
no
just-
question
you know what
about
got me,
it.
John, when you said that? You reminded me. I was in De Valere, Myron. A few of us we were all in the same homiletics class with Doggett.
Yeah.
And I remember listening to these guys, and these guys, I mean, I'm talking about the era where Wesley Knight, Robert Davis, like those guys were just right
Yeah.
ahead of us. preaching down the house.
Right.
And then Debonair and Myron and them, I was like,
Right.
oh my goodness, I don't stand a chance, you know? The only Canadian that was really doing things was like Wesley Knight. And we were like,
Right.
But me, I came up in there with my creative style. Rita, I remember when we were dating, she came and she brought this like tape recorder and I set it up to do my little trinket sermon, my creative little Canadian ways. And at the end of it, no runs, no like, and Lord, what we gonna do today? No, none of that. It was just my little Canadian little tape recorder, like had a little skit ready to go. And Rita was like, Rita, press play. She pressed play for me, and I remember at the end of that, Doggett actually gave me an A+. I had one of the highest grades on that presentation.
Wow.
I know Doggett didn't care for my sermon. I think he just saw like it encouraged me because he saw like, okay, this guy's different. I'm not going to discourage him, but I see something in him, and that meant a lot to me. I don't know if I told him this.
Wow.
When he gave me that grade, I was like, what? Like, I'm nothing like these other guys. These guys are amazing. And it really encouraged me. And I've never forgotten that.
But God
awesome.
uses you in your own armor. You don't have to be like somebody else.
Exactly.
Right.
And look at the kind of impact you've been able to have doing ministry in a creative way. So proud of you guys. We love you very much. Thank you for coming on the show tonight. Thank you for sharing with everybody. Such transparency.
Yes.
Everybody's just saying it, how much they just appreciate it and love it. And several people I think have been inspired to at least push through, as you were saying.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
We'll see y'all again soon.
All right, man. Take care.
Definitely.
Okay.
Love you guys.
All right, guys. Well, that was amazing.
That was amazing.
Literally.
I mean, it's
Like,
like
next
we've
level
talked
amazing.
to them about these things, but just having those details and being reminded of what God has done for them is just wow.
And they literally went from the struggle life to the Onyx life. Now you
did.
know what the Onyx life is.
Now you know what the Onyx
You know
life
what I'm
is.
saying?
And you guys hopefully will be following Onyx Family now because they have so many awesome things coming up.
Yeah.
And your kids need to be watching.
Of course, we have
Onyx
our
kids.
boot camp coming up on this Monday. And if you want to get into our boot camp, you can still do it. There's still time. Go to bootcamp.justjohnandapril.com. Your intimacy will go to another level. And if you use the code TAKEOFF200, you will actually get $200 off of the price. And that's good
right.
for, I guess, the next couple of days.
Yes, and Rita and Mirthell went through it.
They did.
They loved it.
They loved it. They did a good job with it. It helped them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This
So,
will help you too.
This will help you too.
Yeah. And whether you're actually feeling like your relationship's about to break up or if you actually just want to take your intimacy to another level, both things will help you.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll be able to do it. So we're excited about having you guys.
It helps us as we go through it with the couples.
No
every
question.
time.
Every time. Yeah.
So
we're starting this Monday. We want you to join us. So come on in. Promo code TAKEOFF200. And now we are going to end with Team John and Team April. Now, clearly, there is no Team John and Team April in this situation. We just like to end with a particular
Team
song.
Onyx.
You know what I'm saying?
You can say Team
Yeah, man.
Onyx.
Put Onyx Family in there. Hopefully you guys are following them already. If you're not, follow them now. Onyx Family, Onyx Life. If you go down to the bottom of their Onyx Life page, you will actually notice all the other channels that they have. Shiloh has his own video game channel. Shasha has her own exercise channel.
Yes.
I think Sinead and Shalom have channels too.
Shasha has an exercise app.
She does.
That you can actually download on your iPad or whatever.
Yes.
And you can do workouts with her, and they're so good.
These guys,
it's just they're doing some great things, y'all.
Yeah.
So Team Onyx, definitely. Team Onyx Family.
That's right.
Go ahead and follow them.
We're excited about what the Lord is going to continue to do through them, and maybe they inspired some of you tonight to take that leap into that one thing that you're scared to do.
I'm gonna just say there are some people out there right here, Chimes, who are actually hating to go to work every day.
Hating.
And working hours where they're away from family, more stress.
And they don't have their purpose.
You don't have your purpose. Find your purpose. You know, that their family, this was just a good show tonight with them on here because it just helps us to just reminding us that we need to find our purpose.
We do.
You know, when you don't know what the Lord has for you and you're not doing what God has for you, you're never going to be satisfied in life until you're doing what God has created you for.
Sometimes what he has for you is cookie cutter. It's kind of like something that maybe feels run of the mill, but other times he has stuff that you would have never imagined if you just open yourself to him.
But you know, fear
jacks you up, man.
jacks us up.
Really does.
It really does.
Yeah.
So Hopefully
Anyway.
this encouraged you to find out what God has for you.
Yeah.
Because
push through. Do
Yeah,
that thing.
exactly.
Find it. Do it. And the Lord is going to do something great for you.
I agree.
All right, guys. We'll see some of y'all in the boot camp on Monday.
Oh, yeah, we will.
The rest of y'all, we'll see you this Friday for our normal podcast that will be released about 3 o'clock. And we'll see you again next Wednesday here live. We're excited about it. And
yes, and we appreciate our faithful chimes. We love y'all.
all right, y'all. See y'all next time.
Bye.